As we already know, every scene object has a node level property called material. This property provides access to the material assigned to the object. We can both get and set this property. If there is no material assigned to the object, like in the case of this Lego brick, the result is undefined. We can also assign a material to the property. For example, let's create a new standard material with default parameters. We get a default gray material. It might be a good idea to specify a custom diffuse color, for example red or blue, yellow, or just some random color between black and white. In order to remove a material from an object, we can simply assign undefined to the material property. Now let's create a wall of Lego bricks, and then, in order to stay true to the nature, assign random materials to the bricks. We'll need a variable to shift every second row. Let's call it shift and assign true to it. The actual copying code will be very similar to the one we used previously to create an array of boxes. For Z, that's the row counter, incrementing from 0 to 9, to first take shift and invert the value stored in it. So if shift is currently true, it becomes false, and if it's false, it becomes true again, and this repeats for every single row. Then inside the row, increment x from 0 to 9 and do create a copy of the object Lego and change its position to a point3 value 20 times x, 0 and 10 times c, because the dimensions of this Lego brick are 20 by 10 by 10. But since we want to shift every second row, we're going to use an if statement and check if shift is true, then assign this position. Otherwise, assign a position which is shifted by 10 units. Executing this code creates a wall of 10 by 10 bricks with every second row shifted. In the end, it's a good idea to delete the original object, because we already have a copy at that position when z and x are equal to 0. Now let's assign some custom materials. We could create a bunch of new materials using MaxScript and assign them to the scene objects randomly, but it might be wiser to assign the new materials to the sample slots of the material editor first. This way, we'll be able to quickly tweak the materials if we want to. In order to assign custom materials to the material editor slots, we're going to count from 1 to the number of new materials we want to create, let's say 4, and assign to the sample slot of the material editor with index m, where m is between 1 and 4, a new standard material with a diffuse color, which is taken from the array of colors red, blue, white and yellow based on the index of the material being created. That means that when we're creating the first material, in the first slot of the material editor, we're going to create a material which has a diffuse color taken from the first element of the array, in this case red, then blue, white and yellow. Let's open the material editor and watch what happens. We got 4 materials, but unfortunately the default name of all the 4 materials is standard material. We can assign a new name based on the index. For example, name is equal to the base Lego underscore plus m as string, which gives us 4 materials named Lego 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now we could tweak some properties by hand if we want to, and then assign the 4 materials to the scene objects by picking random materials from the first 4 slots of the material editor. For O in all the Lego objects in the scene, to assign to the material property a random material from the slots 1 to 4. If we execute this code, we get a Lego brick wall which looks like created by children. Of course, we can use the fact that assigning a property in MaxScript is a mapped function, and if we want to remove all the materials from all the objects, we can simply say $, for the current selection, dot material is equal to undefined. This removes all the materials from all the selected objects. We can repeat the assignment again. Every time we assign random materials, the random pattern is going to be different. Unless we specify a random seed. For example, if we set the seed to this number, every time we execute the random function, the result is going to be the same. We can change the seed in order to get a different random pattern. We're going to use the seed and the random numbers in the future when we start creating user interfaces for our scripts, in order to give the opportunity to the user to keep the random pattern stable every time he runs the script.